I thought I was dying. The feelings that you get from having an AFib or atrial fibrillation episode is so scary. One moment you're completely normal, and then the next, your heart just starts to go. It starts to flutter, it starts to palpitate. You can feel the heartbeat in your throat. It's just beating so irregularly and fast in your chest. And then you start to feel lightheaded. You start to feel a little bit of shortness of breath, and then the world starts to spin around you. The panic starts to set in. It's like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Am I having a heart attack? Am I dying? Like, what is going on? And it's all these feelings that makes it so much worse to experience an AFib episode. Hi, I'm Linna, your host and lifelong fibber. I had my first episode when I was only 14 years old. Can you believe that? And I've been riding the irregular rhythm roller coaster ever since. I'm officially AFib as fuck. And this podcast is my little heart to heart about, well, my heart. And I'm here to talk about my diagnosis story, my lifestyle changes, dealing with AFib at work. That one is a tricky one. My triggers, and most recently, my ablation surgery, and how I'm keeping up with my social life. Thanks so much for joining, and let's get into it. So you're here because either A, your heart just did something weird, B, you just got diagnosed, C, you're spiraling on Google, or D, you're just curious. Today, we're talking about what AFib actually is, and more importantly, why it matters to know if you have it. Because trust me, ignoring AFib is like ignoring a fire alarm and hoping it's just someone burning toast. And spoiler, sometimes it's not toast. So what even is AFib? AFib is short for atrial fibrillation. It's when the top chambers of your heart, aka the atria, decide to freak out and beat all chaotic like instead of a nice organized rhythm. So think about your heart rhythm, right? Heart rhythm usually goes boom, 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 like pretty steady and regular. And what happens with AFib is that it's so irregular that there's no distinct pattern to it. So it could be like boom, 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 boom. So it's super fast and super slow at the same time. There's peaks of fast, peaks of slow. Sometimes it can get into tachycardia, which is a consistent, really fast beat of your heart, which so sometimes when I have my AFib episodes, I do get into that. It's not very often that I get that. Most of the time, it's more of the irregular heartbeat. People have different types of AFib. Some people feel it throughout the day, on and off, and it doesn't really bother them that much. Some other people don't actually feel anything at all. Maybe occasionally they'll feel a little flutter here or a palpitation there, but nothing of any main concern. And some other people like myself usually have it where it comes in episodes. So basically for the most of the time, I'm pretty normal. Like I can do my daily activities. There's no issues with my heart. But whenever an episode comes, I am unable to be an able-bodied person. So basically I'm stuck in one spot. It lasts any time between 30 minutes to 5 hours. And for the duration of that time, I can't really do anything, and it's so limiting. It's so limiting to your lifestyle. It's so limiting to you mentally and physically, and you really feel helpless. And in combination with all those really scary, very real feelings that comes with the episodes, it's a very, very hopeless place. And you might be wondering how many people are actually affected by AFib. It's the most common heart rhythm disorder in the world. Like millions of people have it, even young people, even healthy people, even people who eat kale for fun. It's so common that Apple Watch came out with the ECG function as well as an AFib detector. And I think a lot of people actually don't know when they have AFib. Here's the deal. AFib itself isn't always dangerous in the moment. You're not going to drop dead because your heart fluttered a while. It certainly feels like you will though when in the moment, but over time, untreated AFib can potentially lead to stroke, because your heart isn't pumping blood properly and clots can form. Heart failure because your heart's overworked, and generally feeling like trash and not knowing why. And since some people don't really have any symptoms, they go undiagnosed until something big happens, like a stroke. A stroke that could have been prevented with blood thinners or treatment. That's the part that really gets me. It's so easy to write off the symptoms as stress, anxiety, or just getting older. Mine started at 14, which is super fun when you're a teenager and trying to explain to your friends why you just randomly feel like you can't breathe in class. Everyone experiences it differently, but here are some common symptoms. Fluttering or pounding heartbeat, like you can really feel it thumping your whole body. That irregular heartbeat, fast, slow, fast, 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 slow, slow, slow. Shortness of breath, and no, it's probably not a panic attack. Fatigue, dizziness, feeling like you're about to pass out, or a fun twist, no symptoms at all in some people, which is terrifying, right? You can be walking around like, I feel great, while your heart is secretly having a rave in your chest. And that's why getting diagnosed is so important. I'll get into the full diagnosis, or should I rather say, misdiagnosis story in the next episode, but here's the short version. It took years before doctors figured out what was going on with me. I was told it was anxiety, it was hormones, it was just stress. I was even misdiagnosed with myocarditis when all my test results showed up normal, and the treatment, quote unquote, they used on me actually got me hospitalized for 2 months, all when I was 14 years old. Yet another emergency department visit in my early 20s led to the proper diagnosis of AFib. And when you know, you can actually do something about it. So if any of this sounds familiar and your heart's been, throwing raves at 2 a.m., here's what you can do. Number 1, track your symptoms. Seriously, dates, times, what you were doing, how it felt, write it all down or use a notes app. Really make that note count. Number 2, advocate for yourself. If a doctor shrugs you off, get a second opinion. You know your body the best. Number 3, ask for tests. ECGs, Holter monitors, stress tests, echocardiograms. These can actually catch AFib in action and give you a ton of information on the state of your heart. And number 4, most importantly, don't panic. You're not alone and you're not broken. You've just got a heart with a personality. So that's what AFib is. It's a chaotic, dramatic, glitchy heartbeat that's way more common than anyone talks about, and way more dangerous if ignored. But here's the good news. Once you know, you can work with it, treat it, even live totally normal with the right support. And that's what this podcast is all about, making AFib make sense. Next week, we'll dive into the misdiagnosis story, the missed signs, the frustrating doctor visits, and how I finally got the answers. Spoiler, it's not a straight line, but it is worth talking about. Until then, breathe deep, track your flutters, and remind your heart, you're the boss. Thanks for listening to AFib as fuck. If you like this episode, hit subscribe, leave a review, or just send it to a friend who's always saying, my heart does weird things sometimes. Catch you next time for another Heart to Heart.